You don't need to run marathons or sweat through spin classes to boost your brain. In fact, some of the best things you can do for your mind after 60 don't even require sneakers. More and more research is showing that light, everyday movement, think watering your plants, dancing in your kitchen, walking your neighbor's dog, or practicing a few slow-motion Tai Chi moves, can significantly support cognitive health. This isn't a pep talk for Olympic athletes. It's a celebration of the humble, often overlooked ways we move our bodies through the day and how those movements quietly sculpt and safeguard the brain. For years, the message was that exercise needed to be vigorous to make a difference, the kind that leaves you breathless and soaked in sweat. But the truth is, especially for older adults, low-intensity physical activity may be just as valuable when it comes to protecting memory, executive function, and overall brain structure. Recent studies using accelerometers, those fancy wrist-worn trackers that measure every wiggle, have shown that simply replacing sedentary time with light activity, even for just 10 to 20 minutes a day, correlates with better brain volume in key areas tied to learning and memory, like the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. Let's take gardening, for instance. It might not look like much to a fitness coach, but when you bend to prune a plant, balance to reach for a pot, or carry a watering can across the yard, your body is engaging in functional movement. Your brain, meanwhile, is coordinating spatial awareness, hand-eye precision, and the memory needed to keep track of what you planted where. One study found that regular gardening was associated with a lower risk of dementia, not because it's a workout, but because it keeps the body and mind moving in harmony. Plus, there's the added bonus of sunlight, fresh air, and the quiet joy of watching something grow. Then there's Tai Chi, often dismissed as moving meditation for the elderly, but in reality, it's a cognitive goldmine. Tai Chi involves slow, deliberate movements paired with deep, rhythmic breathing and focused attention. It's been shown to improve working memory, attention, and processing speed. The reason? It combines physical movement with mental engagement and emotional regulation, a triple win for the aging brain. And unlike high-impact exercise, Tai Chi is easy on the joints, safe for most fitness levels, and actually fun once you stop worrying about how graceful you look doing it. Walking the dog might not seem like a big deal either, until you realize it often combines several brain-boosting ingredients at once: physical motion, sensory stimulation, fresh air, companionship with both canine and human neighbors, and even spontaneous problem-solving, like when your dog decides to chase a squirrel mid-walk. In fact, regular dog walkers tend to log more light activity minutes each week and report higher emotional well-being, both of which contribute to cognitive resilience over time. Even chores like sweeping, folding laundry, or rearranging a shelf give your brain gentle challenges that reinforce coordination and sequencing. These are the kinds of non-exercise activities that don't show up on most fitness trackers, but do show up in studies as contributors to cognitive preservation. In people over 65, higher levels of light physical activity are consistently linked to better performance on memory and attention tests and lower risks of mild cognitive impairment. One of the most exciting aspects of all this is how accessible it is. You don't need equipment. You don't need a gym. You don't even need to change your clothes. What matters is consistency, moving a little more and sitting a little less. That motion sends signals to your brain that the body is active, the environment is engaging, and the system needs to stay sharp. Blood flow increases. Hormones like BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, get released. Mood improves. You think more clearly not in spite of the movement, but because of it. This is great news for couch potatoes who feel overwhelmed by the idea of getting in shape. You don't need to become a fitness guru. You just need to interrupt the sitting. Stand up, stretch, walk around the room, rake some leaves, reorganize the spice rack, dance to an old song. Your brain is always listening, and it rewards even the smallest acts of movement with greater energy, sharper recall, and better emotional balance. So no, you don't have to train for a triathlon to protect your brain. You just have to move like you mean it a little more often, in ways that feel natural and enjoyable. In a world obsessed with intensity and results, it's the gentle, mindful, daily motions, the ones that make life feel more alive, that might just keep your brain ticking beautifully for years to come.